My girlfriend posted, if he wanted to, he would. And after I turned down a $4,000 vacation with her friends, I texted back, you're right. Then I canceled the trip I'd already planned for just us, packed up every last thing of hers from my place, and blocked her number. When she returned from that girl's trip, she discovered exactly who did what I wouldn't. You know that saying, if he wanted to, he would. It's the kind of phrase you see plastered over Instagram sunsets or photos of impossibly glamorous couples on yachts. It's the unofficial anthem for women who believe their boyfriends should double as mind readers, magicians, and human ATMs. My now ex-girlfriend, Monica, treated those words like sacred scripture. Unfortunately for her, she was about to get a brutal, literal lesson in their meaning. It all began, like most of my headaches, with brunch. Monica stumbled back into my apartment after a bottomless mimosa session with her 3 friends, whom I privately called the Coven. She had that look, the one that said she'd been scrolling through social media and decided her life was tragically lacking, and I was the contractor hired to fix it. She collapsed onto the couch beside me, phone already in hand. Babe, you'll never guess what Tiffany's doing for her birthday. I didn't need to guess. She was already shoving a photo of a beach in Tulum, Mexico, in my face. She's taking everyone for a whole week, all inclusive, she announced, as if this were the most generous act since the invention of charity. I run a small engineering firm. I do well. I'm comfortable, but I'm not reckless. I own my place. I drive a paid-off car. My idea of a good time is a weekend in the mountains, not dropping $4,000 on a trip designed for Instagram clout. That's nice of her, I said, turning back to the game on TV. Well, she drawled, that's the thing. Her boyfriend's covering her half, but the rest of us have to pay our own way. It's only like $4,000. The word hung between us like a bad smell. I looked at her. She'd perfected that pleading expression, the one that usually worked. Monica, $4,000 is a lot of money for a trip with your friends, I said, keeping my voice steady. But it's Tiffany's birthday, she countered, as if that made it a federal holiday. And besides, we never go anywhere. This was, to put it mildly, a lie. We did go places, just not the kind with perfect lighting for selfies. But that wasn't even the worst part. The worst part? I'd already booked and paid for a surprise anniversary trip for just the 2 of us. 10 days in a quiet, breathtaking corner of northern Italy. A lakeside villa, unbelievable food, scenic drives, the whole experience. It had cost me far more than $4,000, but it was an investment in us, or so I thought. I don't have $4,000 to spend on a girls' trip to Mexico right now, I said. It was a polite way of saying, there's a 0% chance I'm financing you getting drunk in another country with people I can't stand. Her expression shifted instantly. The pleading vanished, replaced by a cold, hard stare. I can't believe you, she snapped. It's like you don't even care about my happiness. The argument spiraled from there into the usual circular mess. It ended with her storming into the bedroom and slamming the door. I sighed and turned up the TV. I figured she'd get over it in a day or 2. I was wrong. The next afternoon, my phone buzzed. She'd tagged me in a post. I opened Instagram, and there it was. A professionally vague, passive-aggressive masterpiece. A sunset photo, probably stolen from Google, with that phrase written in elegant script. If he wanted to, he would. A public declaration that I, the uncooperative boyfriend, was failing my duties. My crime? Refusing to bankroll a last-minute $4,000 party trip. I stared at the post, then at the comments flooding in from the Coven. He doesn't deserve you, Queen. Megan, this is what I'm talking about. Know your worth. They were publicly shaming me for being financially responsible. But I didn't get angry. A strange calm washed over me. It was like a complex engineering problem had suddenly simplified. The variables were clear. The objective was defined. I took a screenshot of her post. I opened my messages, attached the image, and sent it to her with 2 words. You're right. Then I silenced my phone. She thought she was playing emotional chess, trying to checkmate me into paying for her trip. She had no idea I'd just flipped the board. She was about to learn what it really meant when a man wanted to, and what he did when he really, really didn't. Update 1.
A week has passed since my last post. My apartment is significantly cleaner and about 150 pounds lighter. Thanks for the support and the hilarious comments. Some of you are twisted, and I appreciate it. After I sent Monica that "you're right" text, my phone stayed quiet for exactly 11 minutes. I imagine that's how long it took her and the coven to dissect my message. Then the floodgates opened, a barrage of texts. What does that mean? Are you serious? You're being so childish. Followed by a string of missed calls. I ignored them all. I had work to do. My first call was to the travel agency that booked the Italy trip. Brenda, the agent, had been so excited for me. "Brenda," I said, "I've got some bad news. It turns out my girlfriend has a previously unscheduled career-defining brunch, so our trip to Italy is off." She was confused but professional. There was a hefty cancellation fee, which I accepted as the idiot tax for not seeing the red flag sooner. Still, I got a substantial refund. Phase 2 began immediately. I hired a moving company specializing in discreet professional relocations, a fancy term for "we pack up your ex's stuff so you don't have to." While Monica was at work the next day, 2 guys arrived with 100 boxes. It was an archaeological dig through the remnants of our relationship. The sheer volume of stuff was staggering. Clothes, shoes, makeup, and roughly 1,000 decorative pillows you weren't actually allowed to use. They packed it all, every hair clip, every half-empty bottle of absurdly expensive face cream, every live, laugh, love sign. I supervised the operation, ensuring they didn't accidentally pack my toothbrush or my dignity. Her belongings were taken to a climate-controlled storage unit. I paid for the first month. The key and access code were sent to Tiffany's address via courier, along with a cashier's check for the security deposit Monica never paid me. I included a simple typed note. "As you pointed out, if I wanted to, I would. Turns out, I don't. This is me growing up. Have a nice trip." I spent the rest of the evening cleaning. I scrubbed the apartment from top to bottom. I threw out all the scented candles that made my place smell like a Yankee Candle factory had exploded. I reclaimed my bathroom counter. It was therapeutic. Meanwhile, Monica was having a meltdown. Her texts had escalated from confused to furious. She called me a psycho, controlling, even had her mom call me, which I politely shut down. The best part, she still went on the trip to Mexico. I guess she couldn't bear the humiliation of telling her friends her ATM had been shut down. I later heard from a mutual acquaintance that she put the entire $4,000 on her credit card, a card I knew was already near its limit. She was determined to project the image of an unbothered, independent woman living her best life. Her Instagram was a masterclass in denial. Cocktails on the beach, boomerangs of her and her friends laughing, all captioned with quotes about self-worth and not settling. It was like watching someone try to extinguish a house fire with a water pistol. While she curated her fake paradise, I reallocated some recently freed up capital. My younger sister, Jenna, is a graphic designer. She's incredibly talented, but has been struggling to launch her freelance business. She's been using an ancient laptop, outdated software, and taking cheap projects just to scrape by. She's the opposite of Monica in every way, hard-working, humble, and deeply passionate. She'd been saving for a new computer and professional software, but progress was slow. The total cost, about $5,000. So I took the refund from the canceled Italy trip, added a little extra, and went shopping. I bought her the most powerful laptop on the market, a professional-grade monitor, a full Adobe Creative Cloud subscription, and a top-of-the-line drawing tablet. I had it all delivered to her apartment, no warning. An hour later, she called me, sobbing, but these were the good kind of tears. She was overwhelmed, kept asking what she'd done to deserve it. "You worked for it," I told her. "I'm not giving you a gift. I'm making an investment in your business. You can pay me back when you're a big shot." There was a long silence. Then she whispered, "Thank you." So while Monica racked up credit card debt to prove a point to a man who wasn't even watching, I invested in someone's future, someone who actually had one. Final update. The show is over. The curtains have dropped, and I've never felt better. The past 2 weeks have been eye-opening. I expected more of a fight when Monica returned from Mexico, but what I got was far more satisfying. She came back sunburned, exhausted, and, from what I heard, in a foul mood. The trip wasn't the paradise she'd portrayed on Instagram. According to a friend of a friend, the vibe soured quickly. Once her friends realized Monica expected them to cover her drinks and meals after her card was declined on day 3. The all-inclusive resort wasn't as inclusive as she'd thought. She didn't come to my apartment right away. Maybe she was too proud, or maybe she was strategizing. She stayed with Tiffany for a couple of days, until the storage unit company called Tiffany, reminding her that the next month's rent was due. Tiffany wasn't thrilled about being the contact for Monica's mountain of junk. The inevitable confrontation happened where last night I was at my place, reviewing business plans with Jenna. We had my laptop connected to the TV, admiring the new portfolio website she'd built with her upgraded gear. The quality of her work had skyrocketed. She was already fielding inquiries from bigger clients, buzzing with energy. Then the buzzer rang. I knew it was Monica. I let her up. I wanted her to see this. When I opened the door, she looked wrecked. The vacation glow was gone, replaced by pale, stressed exhaustion. She launched in immediately. No preamble. Her voice high and shaky with anger. "What is wrong with you?" she demanded. "You packed up my stuff, sent it to Tiffany's, canceled my credit card, all because I wanted to go on a trip with my friends." I didn't interrupt. I leaned against the doorframe, hands in my pockets, and let her vent. It was a long, rambling tirade about how I was controlling, petty, how I'd humiliated her. "After everything I did for this relationship," she finished, breathless. I almost laughed. "What exactly did you do, Monica?" I asked, genuinely curious. "Besides occupy space and spend my money." Her face crumpled. The anger drained, replaced by dawning horror. "I thought you loved me," she whispered. "I did," I said, and it was true. "But love doesn't mean you get to be a spoiled, ungrateful child. You made your priorities clear. You wanted a financier, not a partner. You posted that meme for the world to see, to shame me into giving you what you wanted. All I did was take you at your word." She shook her head, tears welling. "It was just a stupid post. I was upset. You can't throw away 2 years over a post." "It was never about the post, Monica. It was about what it represented, the entitlement, the idea that you deserve to have your life funded by someone else, and if they don't comply, they're the bad guy. You said, if he wanted to, he would. I wanted to take you to Italy. I wanted to build a life with you. What I didn't want was to pay for a $4,000 party so you could impress your vapid friends. So you're right. I didn't want to. I wouldn't." That's when she noticed Jenna. My sister had been sitting quietly on the couch, but now she stood, looking uncomfortable. Monica's eyes narrowed. She scanned Jenna, then zeroed in on the table where the brand new high-end laptop and drawing tablet sat. The exact setup Monica had been sending me links to for months, complaining about how her old laptop was too slow for content creation. "What is this?" Monica asked, her voice dangerously quiet. "That," I said with a slight smile, "is what I did want to do." Jenna, bless her, chose that moment to speak up. "Mark made an investment in my business," she said, her voice clear and proud. "I'm paying him back with my first big contract." The look on Monica's face was priceless. It was a slow-motion car crash of emotions. Confusion, realization, fury, and something like pathetic despair. She wasn't looking at a new girlfriend. She was looking at something far worse. A smart investment. A person given the resources she felt entitled to, who was actually doing something with them. The money from her canceled anniversary trip didn't vanish. It was repurposed, given to someone with talent and a work ethic. She just stood there, speechless. The narrative she'd built, that I was cheap, that I didn't care, that I was holding her back, collapsed in that moment. I wasn't unwilling to spend the money. I was just unwilling to spend it on her. "So that's it," she finally said, her voice hollow. "You replace me with your sister?" "Don't be ridiculous," I said. "I didn't replace you with anyone. I replaced a bad investment with a good one. You were a liability. Jenna is an asset. It's simple math. You should go, Monica. We're busy." I didn't slam the door. I just closed it gently in her face. Jenna and I stood in the silence for a moment. Then she looked at me. That was intense. "That," I said, picking up my coffee cup, "was me wanting to. My life is simpler now, quieter, more profitable. Jenna's business is taking off, and I have a feeling that investment will pay off in more ways than one. Monica learned a hard lesson in economics. She discovered that when you put a price tag on everything, sometimes you get sold off for parts, and sometimes the person you thought was a bad boyfriend turns out to be a very good venture capitalist.